Right. Well, I don't know where to start with that. Nottingham Forest at the League Cup to Swansea, 3-2 loss at the Liberty Stadium. Yeah, I haven't lost my head after a game like that for a while. And I know it's only the League Cup; it's not the Premier League or Europa League, but yeah, I got a lot to process from that game. So please, everyone, get your thoughts in the comments. We've just totally and utterly thrown that away. I'm a bit raw off the back of that, so not really got a plan here. I'm just going to waffle, but I game management at the end of that game was absolutely terrible. Of course, a lot of changes there. 10 changes. Morata was the only one that stayed in. That made complete sense. I would have been tempted to play Cunha or Abbott from the start, but it was great to see some players get some minutes that hadn't played before. I think we saw some really good performances. So it's not all negative, Jesus with two really good goals and two fantastic team goals from Forest. Let's not forget that. The first goal created by Bakwa, Hutchinson with a great run, really good finish from Jesus. Excellent first goal. I can't speak highly enough of it. The second goal was also very good. An even more simple finish, but a great move beforehand. And that's what stings even more. Really, really good football from us there. But ultimately, we can't forget the fact that Swansea, all game long, had more the ball than us. They looked more threatening than us, and they were going to have home advantage. It probably would have been different at the City Ground, maybe. But, we knew that was going to happen. Swansea were a lot more up for it, I think, throughout the game. I think Forest overall were professional in most of the game, but Swansea were always going to be a bit more up for it, being the underdog, being home atmosphere, that was always going to play into their hands. And I think as the game went on, we kept missing chances, and we didn't have many of them throughout the game. It was only towards the end of the match where we actually started to have a more consistent period in front of goal. There was a spell where Yates missed a shot. There was I can't remember who missed. Hudson-Odoi, I think, had a chance as well. Callum Awendo had a goal offside. I think it was arguably onside. He then missed another really big chance as well. There was 4 chances there in, I don't know, 15 minutes. You've got to score one of them. There were so many obvious openings, and I think in like his one-on-one duels, we were clearly had more quality, and I think we were clearly the better team, and our Premier League quality showed, especially in that first half. Swansea dominated. We had 2 shots, minus McAtee missing one from quite close range, and we scored. That's it, clinical. That's great. But then when we miss other chances, we should have scored 4, 5, or 6 here. Maybe not 6, but we had the chances to, is what I'm saying. And there were really, really big chances, the ones we should have put away. And Swansea were going to get confidence from that. And credit to Swansea, I've not even said that. They fully deserved to win that game. They kept going, they saw belief. But if Forest just score one more goal, that could completely take the sting out of their sails. Is that the phrase? You know what I mean? It would completely deflate them. And they don't then try as hard, they don't have as much drive to keep going. Forest keep missing chances, it's going to build Swansea's confidence. And they fully deserved it. Now, both goals, I think Willy Bolly was probably at fault for. I think he lost his man both times. That's probably the first time Bolly's had a bad game for us. Obviously, he's never been like outstanding for Forest, but I think he's always been quite a reliable player for us, and that's probably why he was given a new contract in the summer. But here, yeah, that wasn't a good game from him at all. I think everybody else was all right, but I think Bolly weren't great. Yates didn't have his greatest game either. I don't think he's doing himself any favours about getting regular minutes this season. John Victor in goal, I think, had some good moments, but very nerve-wracking. I think in a lot of ways he's a carbon copy of Miguel. So many similarities, and that's probably not a great thing to be able to say about him. Cunha, I thought, looked good when he came on. I think he was fairly solid whenever I saw him. Anyway, I think he was. Douglas Luiz, great. Back were great. Some really good performances. Hutchinson was very lively. And this is why it stings. Zinchenko overall, I thought, was very solid. Savona had his moments. I think Forest were quite dirty at times, though, in this game. And we definitely saw a bit of Premier League bias there. which is something that I could never have said before about Forest. So, you know, we're getting sort of that big team treatment almost. And Swansea, you know, I had a feeling that they were going to score that winner because I saw my phone and I just saw people going, "Oh my God." And I thought, is that just a late reaction or have they just hit the post? Well, they did hit the post and it would have been one hell of a goal if it had gone in and then they get the deflection. And I'm sorry, but that game management is just absolutely shocking. Whether you are losing confidence or not, because Swansea are gaining confidence, that is just unacceptable game management. And you know, the defending for that third goal, Forest were just totally asleep, and there was definite complacency and entitlement in there. And it's something I really don't like seeing from any side is that entitlement and not playing till the end. Well, ultimately, under two different managers now, in two of the last three games, we've not only lost three in a row, but in two of the last three games, we've completely and utterly lost our heads in the last 10 minutes. I mean, in this case, it was even less than 10 minutes. West Ham, a poor performance all the way around, all the way through. And then we lost the Reds towards the end, completely lost the Reds. Arsenal were just outclassed throughout the whole game. And then today, I mean, yeah, completely lost the Reds towards the end of that game. And yeah, no excuses really at all. Fair play to Swansea, fully deserved it. It doesn't matter what division they're playing in, they fully deserve to play and go through in that game. You know, I'm not going to take that away from them. But I have to say, I was talking to a fellow Forest fan earlier, and I was being completely honest. We were being honest with each other and saying that we're not really confident right now about going into any game at the moment. And it's not just because of our form, and I don't want to jump on the bandwagon, but it is probably just because of Ange at the moment. And I really want it to work for him. I'm not going to, you know, come on here and slate him. I had a couple of people say I was being harsh on him after Arsenal. I'm not about that. I'm not about jumping on people and you know, insulting them. You know, that's not what I'm about. I'm honest and fair whenever possible. That's just how I try and be. But I think I can't be the only one that can say that handball isn't completely convincing, because when it worked today, absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. Both goals, top notch. I can't complain about that. And I think we're going to see that. I think Forest could score more goals than we did in the Nuno than what we're going to with Ange. I think that is definitely a possibility because of the way Ange often plays is a lot of attacking input there. But defensively, I think it could be all at sea quite often. And, you know, we're going away this weekend to a promoted side in Burnley who did a very good job against Liverpool until the very last minute. If they can do that to Liverpool, I am concerned what they can do to us. I'm not confident going to Turf Moor. I'm really not. Sunderland next week after that at home. Yeah, they've had a really strong start to the season. They look very solid. I know they've done what we did in the first season and brought a lot of players in, so they're not really a promoted side anymore. But that's not going to be easy at all. And Betis, I really don't want to be negative. I really, really don't. But I'm quite pessimistic, and normally I'm the opposite. I normally like to be the optimist, but I just can't help but feel that way, you know, with the way the start of the season's gone, with the whole Nuno thing, then changing managers, not convinced we've got the right man in, and as much as I like Ange, I can't be convinced right now. And it's not just Ange, it's getting all these players together as well. If these players can't bed in, then it's never going to work straight away. It's going to take time, and are we going to have the time? If we have, you know, a bad period of form, that's not going to look good. It's going to give us so much work to do, and then we might not be able to get to where we want to. So maybe we're going to have to accept being a bit lower in the table. I wouldn't be like overly bothered about that, but you know, we clearly want to tread upwards, and that's not what's going to happen if we keep playing like we are doing at the moment. So yeah, more open than normal for me today, but that game was just so disappointing and frustrating and concerning, all the words. Also promising with the new lads that did well. The goals we scored, really good, but game management, really concerning. Overall, great squad depth, but a really poor way to end that game. And yeah, not good enough, I'm afraid. Please like, subscribe to Rads if you're new, you've enjoyed this review, and up the Rads.